Hi Nana. We were learning about hydrogen chloride gas. Okay, so we have seen laboratory preparation method of hydrogen chloride gas, and there is something left over, so we will continue with that. Okay, see actually, uh, in the preparation of hydrogen chloride gas, so here we have taken sodium rock salt into the round bottom flask, and we have poured concentrated sulfuric acid into this one. Okay, and here this is called as thistle funnel. So the lower end of the thistle funnel, it should be dipped in the acid. So reaction takes place between these two, between rock salt and concentrated sulfuric acid. Reaction takes place when it is heated to below 200 degrees centigrade. So what happens? So due to this reaction, it forms a sodium hydrogen sulfate and what hydrogen chloride gas. So these two are the products. So the hydrogen chloride gas which is formed here, as it is gas, what happens? So this gas will come up, it will fill into this round bottom flask, and there is a delivery tube. So through this delivery tube, so the here actually the hydrogen chloride gas collected here, it is moist hydrogen chloride gas, because it contains some moisture in it. So that is why this hydrogen chloride gas, it is passed into another conical flask which contains concentrated sulfuric acid in it. So it contains what? Concentrated sulfuric acid. It contains concentrated sulfuric acid. And here also, this is also concentrated this is also concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, concentrated sulfuric acid. And these are what? This is nothing but NaCl, rock salt. Okay, so like this. So here the hydrogen chloride gas which is formed here, it is having some moisture in it. So hence this hydrogen chloride gas, it is passed through the delivery tube into a concentrated sulfuric acid, into concentrated sulfuric acid. So here this concentrated sulfuric acid, it acts as a dehydrating agent. That means this one will absorb the moisture present in the HCl gas. So all the moisture is absorbed here, but the HCl gas is not absorbed. So this HCl gas, it will move up, and finally, so here through this delivery tube, it will enter into the gas collecting jar. So now HCl gas which is entering into this delivery tube, it is a dry HCl gas. Before that, from round bottom flask into the conical flask, the gas, HCl gas which is traveling, so it is moist HCl gas, and that moisture is absorbed here, and when the water is removed, the water content is removed, it will become dry HCl, and that dry HCl will pass into the gas collecting jar. Okay, so here into this one, so the HCl gas is collected. HCl gas is collected here. So the collection method of HCl gas is, so as it is heavier than air, so it will come and settle at the bottom by throwing out the air. So that means here HCl gas is moving down, and it throws away the air. That means air is pushed away, it is displaced away upward. So the method of collection of HCl is called as upward displacement of air. Upward displacement of air. So all these things we have learned in our previous video. Now the question is, why is hydrogen chloride gas not collected over water? So here hydrogen chloride gas is collected in the air. So actually this is a gas collecting jar, Okay, and here it is having only air in it. Suppose if the gas collecting jar, if it is having, if it contains water, and if the dry HCl gas, if dry HCl gas is allowed into this one, what happened? This dry HCl gas, it is highly soluble in water. Dry HCl gas is highly soluble in water. How much soluble it is? It is, look here, every 1 milliliter of water, can 1 milliliter of water can dissolve, okay, can dissolve 450 milliliters of HCl gas. So that much soluble the HCl gas is. So every 1 milliliter of water can dissolve, every 1 milliliter of water can dissolve 450 milliliters of HCl gas. So that means it is very, very highly soluble. HCl gas is highly soluble in water. So in that case, here actually we are intended to prepare hydrogen chloride gas. But here, as the gas is highly soluble, so we cannot get the hydrogen chloride gas. Our main aim in this in this laboratory preparation, what is our main aim? In order to prepare hydrogen chloride gas, we have done all these things. But if you if you put water into this, what happens? So we cannot get a dry hydrogen chloride gas. So the purpose of performing this experiment, so it is not achieved, because if we collect the hydrogen chloride gas in water, so that hydrogen chloride gas, it will dissolve in water and we cannot get hydrogen chloride gas. Okay, so that is why, as hydrogen chloride gas is highly soluble in water and hence it cannot be collected over water. Okay, hence it is collected over water, it is collected over air by downward displacement of air. Generally we don't collect the gases which are soluble in water. So, okay, the gases which are soluble in water are not collected in water. Those gases are collected in air, not in water. Okay. The gases which are soluble in water, are not collected over water, because we cannot get the gas as it is soluble in water. So those gases we cannot get. Then how to collect such gases? So these gases are collected over, or these gases are collected in the air. They are collected in the air. Okay, in the air, either by downward displacement or upward displacement of air, So either by downward displacement of air or by upward displacement of air. So example for the gas which is collected by downward displacement of air is ammonia. Okay, because its vapor density, whose vapor density is less than vapor density of air. If a gas vapor density is less than vapor density of air, then such gas can be collected in the air by downward displacement of air. But here, so as HCl, as hydrogen chloride gas, example, here upward displacement of air, HCl, because vapor density of HCl, it is more than vapor density of air. When the vapor density of a gas is more than vapor density of air, then such a gas, if it is soluble in water, okay, the conditions are, if it is soluble in water, then it should be collected over water. If it is collected in water, that gas is collected in air. It is not collected in water, and that too by which method? If the vapor density of gas is more than the vapor density of air, then it is collected by the upward displacement of air. If the vapor density of the gas is less than the vapor density of air, then such gas is collected by downward displacement of air. See here ammonia. If you see the ammonia, its molecular weight is 17. Then its vapor density will be what? Molecular weight by 2. Always remember that vapor density will be equal to molecular weight by 2. So that means it will be 17 by 2. How much it will be? It will be 8.5. So that means the vapor density of ammonia is 8.5, whereas vapor density of air is 14.4. Remember. So always remember that vapor density of air is 14.4. So which one is greater? If the vapor density of air is greater than the vapor density of the gas, and if that gas is highly soluble in water, then such gas is collected by downward displacement of air. Okay, right. Here, if the gas vapor density, here HCl's vapor density, it is 18, around, it is 18.25, and vapor density of air is 14.4. So this value, the vapor density of this gas is more than the vapor density of this gas, air. Hence it is collected by upward displacement of air. Because look here, it is denser. As it is denser, it will sink. HCl gas can sink in downwards, and because here actually there should be air here, but because of its heaviness, HCl gas will sink and it will send the air upward. That means it will displace the air upward. So gradually what happened? HCl gas is collected from the down. It will be collected by pushing the air outwards. That means it will displace the air upward, like that. Okay, so that is in this way. That is the difference between upward displacement and downward displacement of air. So generally, which gases are collected in the air? The gases which are soluble in water, they are not collected in water. They are collected in air. And that too, collection of gas in air, it is of two methods. One is downward displacement of air and another one is upward displacement of air. So in which case the downward displacement of air method is used. So if the gas vapor density is greater than the vapor density of air, then this method is used. We have to use this method for the collection of the gas. Okay, if the vapor density of the gas is less than the vapor density of air, in such case we have to use a downward displacement of air method. Okay, so that is why, as hydrogen chloride gas is highly soluble in water, and also its vapor density is greater than air, hence it is collected by upward displacement of air. Okay, it is not collected over water. Okay, right. See, this is also most important. So every 1 milliliter of water can dissolve how much amount of HCl? 450 milliliters of HCl. So that means HCl is very, very highly soluble gas, because only 1 milliliter of water can dissolve. Only 1 milliliter of water can dissolve 450 milliliters of HCl gas into it. That means if you take 1 milliliter of water, if you take 1 milliliter of water, into that we can add how many milliliters of HCl gas? We can add 450 milliliters of HCl gas, and that much amount of HCl gas can be dissolved in 1 milliliter of water. So that is the ability, that is the dissolving capacity of HCl. That is why HCl is said to be highly soluble in water. Right. Next question is, how to find that a gas jar is filled with HCl gas? Okay, next question is, how to find that a gas jar is filled with a gas jar is filled with HCl gas. HCl gas. Okay. So this is a question. See, remember that suppose if I have a gas jar. So in this gas jar, okay, in this gas jar some gas is filled. If this gas is colorless, I cannot see the gas. So can you see the air which is filled in any container? No, we cannot see the air which is filled in a container. See, even the HCl gas, it is also a colorless gas. Like how air is a colorless substance, even HCl gas is also, it is a colorless. So if HCl is poured into, if it is collected in a gas jar or else gas collecting jar, what happens? We cannot see that gas. There are so many gases which we cannot see, but those gases are present still. Suppose if someone has collected a gas in a gas collecting jar, okay, now some gas is there which is colorless. So in order to test whether this gas is HCl gas or not, what we have to do? Simply take so this is ammonia solution. Okay, so actually this is what? Ammonia solution. Ammonia solution. That means it contains what? Ammonia. Okay, so take a glass rod. Okay, take a rod made up of glass and dip this glass rod into this ammonium chloride solution. This glass rod is dipped into the ammonium solution. Okay, dip this glass rod in ammonia solution and open the lid of this one. Okay, so now, so this is the mouth of the gas jar. So what this glass rod, it is brought near the mouth of the. So actually this is having what? Some ammonia. It is having some ammonia stick to this end. So if you open this one, what happens? These vapors will come out. What happens? This gas will escape. This gas will escape. Okay, suppose if this gas is HCl gas, what happens? You will find white dense white fumes. If they touch this glass rod which is dipped in the ammonia solution, that means this glass rod is having what? Ammonia solution. So now this portion contains ammonia solution, and here if it is HCl, what happens? HCl gas, then this HCl gas will produce white dense fumes, very thick fumes of white fumes are developed from this one. So if they touch this glass rod, okay, so what happened? They will this HCl will react with ammonia which is present on this rod and convert into ammonium chloride. So it forms ammonium chloride. So it is a new substance. So it forms a dense fumes, white dense fumes, or else dense white fumes. Fumes means, what is the meaning of fume? Fume means pogalu, poga. Okay, vapors or else fumes. So you'll find a white color fumes or else white color vapors. So coming from this rod. Why white color vapors are formed? So this one is nothing but what? Ammonium chloride. This one is nothing but ammonium chloride fumes. What is this one? This is having ammonia. And what is this one? This is HCl. So when HCl come in contact with the ammonia, so this reaction takes place and ammonium chloride, white dense fumes of ammonium chloride are they will come out from this glass rod. So if white dense fumes appear, then it indicates that this particular gas is nothing but hydrogen chloride gas. Okay, so like this we can say, see, hydrogen chloride gas is a colorless gas. Okay, this is a colorless gas. Okay, hence it cannot be seen. We cannot see this gas. Okay, in order to be sure that the gas filled is HCl gas, what we have to do? We have to bring a glass rod. Okay, dipped in ammonia solution near the mouth of the HCl, near the mouth of this gas jar. Okay, so if white dense fumes are formed around this glass rod, so that the gas jar is completely filled with the gas. So I mean, if white dense fumes are formed around this glass rod, so it indicates that the gas jar is having which gas? The presence of HCl gas in the gas jar. Okay, like this we can detect or else we can identify the presence of HCl gas. So how to find that a gas jar is filled with HCl gas? Simply bring a glass rod which is dipped in the ammonia solution towards the mouth of the gas jar and open that lid of the gas jar. So the gas will come out and it will touch the this ammonia. If it touches the ammonia and produces white dense fumes, then this gas is said to be HCl gas. No other gas will produce white dense fumes with ammonia except HCl. No other gas will produce white dense fumes with ammonia. Okay, so from this experiment, from this small experiment, we can easily identify whether the gas present in gas jar is HCl or not. Okay, right. Next one. Why should the reaction mixture for the preparation of HCl gas not be heated above 200 degrees centigrade? So another question. Why should the reaction mixture for the preparation of HCl gas, okay, for the preparation of HCl gas not be heated above 200 degrees centigrade. See, so this is the laboratory method preparation. So actually this is a reaction mixture. So this reaction mixture contains what? Rock salt and concentrated sulfuric acid. and that reaction mixture, it should be heated below 200 degrees centigrade only. Then only HCl gas is formed and HCl gas is formed and sodium bisulfate is formed. Sodium hydrogen sulfate is formed. Suppose if you heat this reaction mixture above 200 degrees centigrade, what happens? If you heat the reaction mixture above 200 degrees centigrade, what this apparatus may crack. It may get cracked because of high temperature. Because of high temperature, this apparatus may break down. So that is one thing. And one more thing is, so if it is heated, if the reaction mixture is heated, that means if NaCl mixture and concentrated sulfuric acid, if the mixture is heated above 200 degrees centigrade, what happens? It forms a sodium sulfate along with the HCl gas. So sodium sulfate is formed. If you heat below 200 degrees centigrade, it forms a sodium hydrogen sulfate. But if you heat above 200 degrees centigrade or else at equal to 200 degrees centigrade, okay, so then it forms a sodium sulfate. Remember that sodium sulfate should not be formed in this mixture. What will happen if sodium sulfate is formed in this one? In this reaction, if sodium sulfate is formed, there is a problem. What is that problem? This sodium sulfate. Remember that. So this is the apparatus. So suppose if sodium sulfate is formed, the ability of sodium sulfate is, so at this temperature, at above 200 degrees centigrade, so when it is heated to very high temperature, if the sodium sulfate is formed, if this material is formed, what happens? It will try to fuse into the glass. It will try to fuse. It will, because at this portion, the glass also because it becomes somewhat melted. The glass also will get melted somewhat, little bit. Okay. So and even this sodium sulfate will try to enter into the glass material. It will try to enter into the glass material and it want to become the part of the glass. That means sodium sulfate will fuse into the glass. It will fuse into the glass. So that if sodium sulfate is fused into the glass, what happens? This glass apparatus, actually it is very costly apparatus. So after performing the experiment, and we will clean this. Even after cleaning also, that sodium sulfate, it is stick to this one. As it is fused, and okay, as it is fused, it will stick to this one. So what happens? So this round bottom flask, it cannot be further used for the experiments, because now this one. Okay, so this round bottom flask, it gets damaged due to the fusion of sodium sulfate into this glass material. What happens? This glass material gets damaged, and so what happens? It will stain with some color. Okay, and it cannot. We cannot see any material present in it. Okay, it will stain with white color, so that we cannot observe what is present in it. If you pour something, we cannot see, because it will form a opaque layer. Okay, hence this glass apparatus cannot be used further in the next experiments. So that is why that is why this mixture, the reaction mixture, should not be heated above 200 degrees centigrade. Okay, so like this we can answer to this question. Okay, right. Next, one more thing. Okay, right. Now we will learn the other concepts in the next video. So we will continue the other concept related to this one in the next video. Okay, right.